Morning, Dr. Mohapatra.
Very good morning, sir. Very good morning.
Surendra Pal, आपको यूनिवर्सिटी में assistant librarian.
He's our colleague, assistant librarian.
Assistant librarian.
I am in teaching department.
I know
He's in the library, central library.
Sure. I know him. He is familiar to me.
Fine.
Yeah.
Hello everyone. I can see Dr. Vignesh Sarnamohan sir has joined this program. Hearty welcome you, sir, to this program. And thank you everybody that everyone has joined in time. So we will start the program shortly.
Good morning, Vignesh ji. Dr. Mohapatra here.
Good morning, sir.
Welcome, Dr. Vignesh. Welcome to this webinar from Pachpura Mahavidyalaya.
Thank you so much.
I can see the Facebook Live is also started. Sorry to make you waiting. Within a few minutes, we will start the program. So please be with us with your valuable time.
পুরবি জয়েন করেছো?
Hmm.
Good morning once again. This webinar that is titled as digital format. First of all, we are honored and privileged to have three distinguished speakers for this webinar from different places. We all handle the Pachmura Mahavidyalaya hearted and not wasted any time directly to the program. First of all, our honorable Pawan Kumar Mate, our senior most here. I would like to invite him to deliver a welcome speech for Pawan Kumar Maji.
Namaskar and good morning to one and all connected with this national webinar on access to library learning resources in digital format, organized by the Department of Central Library of Pachmura Mahavidyalaya, Bankura, West Bengal, under the Bankura University. I deem it a privilege for me that the organizing committee has given me the responsibility to deliver the welcome address to the honorable resource persons and participants of the webinar on behalf of the principal sir, who suddenly became unable to perform his pre-scheduled program. The subject matter of the webinar is very much necessary and relevant amid this pandemic situation in our country, along with the other parts of the world. A library is a part and parcel to any academic institution, but in this lockdown situation, where all institutions are closed, students are not getting the opportunity of consulting books concerned to their subject of study.
মিউট করে দাও, হ্যাঁ।
But this is very much unfortunate. We have to eliminate this inconvenience of the students with the help of technology, and we can do it. So this webinar has appeared to us more relevant in this new normal situation. In this virtual platform, we have with us Dr. R.K. Mahapatra, HOD, Department of Library and Information Science, Tripura University; Dr. Vignesh Swarnamohan, Chief Strategic and Outreach Officer, National Digital Library of India, who will deliver the keynote address; and Mr. Pranav Hajra, Librarian, Sidhu Kanu Birsa University, Purulia, at Purulia, resource person. Also, we have a lot of participants linked with the webinar from all over India. On behalf of the principal, organizing committee, students of Pachmura Mahavidyalaya, and the members of the Pachmura Mahavidyalaya family, extending you our welcome and heartfelt thanks. Please stay with us throughout the program to make it a great success. Thank you.
Thank you, our respected Swapan Kumar Mahaji sir, our senior most professor of this college. Thank you for this welcome address. Now I am going to introduce the theme of the program. Here we are in the Google Meet, and also many of us, those who are participating, are watching Facebook Live. Due to space constraint, we could not accommodate all of you us, and we are very happy there to note that around 604 participants, around 74 participants have registered for this. 77% of the 3%, and I have seen almost all the states have covered by the participant. Even also there is one participant. Now coming to the point, the today's seminar titled as Access to Library Learning Resources in Digital Format. Why this agenda come to the mind immediately this time? In this lockdown period, you know that percent of the and in this time, the demand for the e-books, e-journals, e-content become high, very high. And to accommodate this, we are not ready. Neither the reader are ready, nor the librarians, the information scientists, repositories not ready. There was a problem to delivering these e-contents or copyrights. There are so many books, journals, articles which we have, but we cannot copy it, we cannot scan it and forward it. But till in this pandemic situation, we are doing it. We don't know how illegal or legal is it, but there are vast repositories of digital resources are there which are never by us before this, even not by readers. So for these digital materials, but now in this pandemic situation, make them force they to explore digital contents. So It is the positive side, negative side of this digital access of the digital contents. In this situation, we have taken this topic for participants. Now I'm going to the our delivery session. Our first, I'm going to introduce him.
Hello. Hello. Dr. R.K. Mahapatra is currently working as an associate professor in the Department of Library and Information Science. He is also the HOD of the department, and that is Tripura University, Agartala, Tripura. He has more than 26 years of teaching experience, 22 years of research experience, and 8 years of professional experience. His area of interest for research are information seeking behavior, metric studies, academic library, research methodology, etc. 24 scholars had awarded PhD under his able guidance. He has written 4 books and he has contributed more than 150 journal articles in various journals. Now I request Dr. R.K. Mahapatra sir to deliver it inaugural speech. Please, sir.
Thank you, Karak. I'm audible?
Yes, sir, you are
Okay.
audible. Yes, sir.
Yes, yes.
A very good morning to one and all. Esteemed patron, Dr. Anil Biswas, Principal Panchamura Mahavidyalaya. Respected keynote speaker, Dr. Vignesh Swarna Mohan, Chief Strategic and Outreach Officer, NDLI. Respected resource person, Mr. Pranab Hajra, University Librarian Siddho Kanu Biswa University. Respected Professor Maji, respected Organizing Secretary, Mr. Subhasis Karak, University College Librarian, Panchamura Mahavidyalaya. All the respected organizing committee members of the National Webinar Seminar, respected teachers, colleagues and professionals, dear research scholars, students, participants in this August virtual platform. At the outset, I am privileged and honored to be amongst you as a part of this benevolent national webinar. The theme: access to library learning resources in digital.
Sir, your mic has been mute. Dr. Mahapatra, sir, your mic has been mute.
The theme of the webinar is very current and needful and need of the hour. So particularly during this pandemic, COVID pandemic, it is very essential for the students as well as the teachers. As a teacher, just I want to mention here that I have been reminded that most of the audience are the undergraduate students, graduate and undergraduate students. So keeping on view to them, I must clear some concept of this theme before discussing my topic. The topic which reflects the keywords library, library resources, digital resources, library learning resources, and digital access to resources, and the role of the library and library professionals as a whole. So
Again, you are muted. Dr. Mahapatra.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Again, there is a transformation of the physical sources, that is from books to document, document to information and knowledge. So we were regarding library as a storehouse of knowledge. Now that concept has been no more. We call library as a knowledge resource center. And a librarian is not a custodian. He is called as a resource, knowledge resource person. And in some universities, they have designated the librarian as the director of the knowledge resource center. Now he's no longer as the custodian. And we also designate the librarian as the facilitator. Rather, a librarian is a facilitator of the resources. Coming to the library resources, we have the physical resources. We have the three forms of resources. There is a physical form of resources, that is called print resources, and there is a non-print resources, and another one is a electronic resources. So the library possesses all kind of resources. So it might the students might have been seeing the college library, which is exists in a small room or maybe 2 or 3 rooms. But the reality of the library is different. So the library that we have come across, the library is a collection of huge resources. I mean, to millions of resources, and there is multi-storied building, and more than 100 people are working in a library. Like giving an example of our National Library, which housed more than 70 lakhs of a collection of library resources, and more than thousands of people are working in National Library of India. And coming to University Library, when you take the example of our BHU, Banaras Hindu University, more than 350 professionals who are working in the University Library. So think about the library, library resources and library infrastructure. And the documents, we call we have different types of documents, starting from physical collection to non-physical collection and electronic collection of books. Now coming to the digital library and digital resources. Here I want to make this clear. What is digital library resources? The digital library resources are the electronic resources which are available in electronic form or digitized form, and which can be accessed through computer, devices, and internet, or we call the web resources. We can call also these resources as electronic information resources or web resources. So the physical resources has been now transferred to the electronic resources and digital resources. And the same like the library has been also transferred from a physical library to automated library, electronic library, hybrid library, digital library, and virtual library, anything. So because of the when there is a transformation of a technology, there is a transformation of a library documents, and the library infrastructure also. So now most of the library resources are available in digital form. There are two types of electronic resources or digital resources. One you call the online resources, and then is the offline resources. Same like there are two types of digital resources. One is called the open, that's called both digital resources and digital resources. So the library houses all the resources, irrespective of the differences. So online resources, the resources which can be accessed through the help of the computer and the internet, and which can be accessed 24/7 by 365. And offline resources, which resources are accessed only through the, it did not require the facility of your internet or web sources. So the online resources we divide here as e-books, e-journals, e-magazines, e-giants, then e-format, e-report, e-project, e-reviews, e-previews, or many more. So all kinds of materials, physical material, those which are now digitized into physical, that's called electronic resources. So now the problem arises here. So how to access the resources? Because there is a huge collection of digital resources in library and outside the library, or we call it the global. Global, it is also available. And the problem arises how to access the resources and how to use the resources. So here it requires the skills, we call the information skills, or we call it the digital access skill. So not only to access the digital resources, but to evaluate the resources, use the resources, and use the resources, how ethically you can use the resources, and basing on the information need of the users, how you can use it. Now, coming to the point of today's discussion, why it became necessary the how to physically access the resources, or how to electronically access the physically resources which are available in the library. So, as you know that we had because these resources were available decades before. Electronic resources were available in decades before. We heard about the Web 1.0, 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, same like library 1.0, library 2.0, library 3.0, library 4.0. And thanks to the library, that then there is a transformation of technology. These are called the technological transformation. Okay. So in the, maybe in the preserving, conserving, or retrieval or dissemination of these resources, or maybe providing the service to the patron or patron users. Okay. But thanks to the library and the librarian, when there is a transformation, when there is a change, they have adopted, they have embraced the changes, and they have adopted the changes, and they have provided the access to the resources, This COVID-19 pandemic made us compulsion. The electronic resources we were using in the classroom. But when the COVID pandemic situation arises, this made us compulsion to physically, because the physical access to classroom and the physical access to the library has been closed. So there become necessity for the teachers and the student to fulfill his or her needs, and it became necessary to access the digital resources. So thanks to the organizing committee and organizing members, they have nicely conceptualized this topic that how to access the digital resources. Now, come to the role of the librarian. Here comes the role of the librarian or library professional to orient the students, orient the teachers about the access to the digital resources. Yesterday, I was simply hearing the expert views of our NEP 2020, that's NEP National Education Policy 2020, which emphasizes the implementation of 40% of online resources, which are available in MOOC or SWAYAM or NPTEL or any other global platform. So that means when the authority of the college, university, and other institution, they will structure their syllabi, they can structure their syllabus, they have to cover 60% of their own sources and 40% of open sources. So now it became a challenge to both the students and the teacher to embrace both and adopt. So for the teaching, learning, and the research. So now it became the role of the teacher as a facilitator. So the expert yesterday told that the teacher is not only teacher today, he is also a facilitator. Librarian is also a facilitator, and the teacher now became as a facilitator, because he has to facilitate the resources wherever it is available and bring it to capture and it bring it to and provide to the students. So now it became the role of the teacher to facilitate the sources to the students. Therefore, the role of the library and the library professional and the librarian became a challenge. So they have to face the challenges, and they have to adapt the challenges and provide the new digital resources. They have to capture it, they have to find it, they have to search it, they have to capture it, they have to process it, they have to preserve it, and they have to retrieve and they have to disseminate and make them easy accessible to the students and the teaching community. So then from where they will provide these resources. So these resources or the librarian, from here they will facilitate the resources to the students and the teacher. So here I want to make it clear that the digital learning resources are available in two forms, in a gated or subscribed form, and other one is a free and open form. So and who are the provider of these sources? The authors are the provider of the sources, the creator are the providers of the sources, the publisher are the providers of the sources, the aggregator of the provider of the sources, the institution, university, government, and government agencies. So it is the duty of the library or responsibility of the library that the library has to subscribe the gated sources. Those resources are available in a subscribed sources or gated sources. the library has to procure or the library has to subscribe and make them available to the teachers or the students. And those resources are available on a free and open source, openly available. So it is the responsibility of the librarian to capture them, create them, preserve them, and deliver and facilitate to the students. Giving the example that the Consortia for Educational Commission provide 40 PG courses. 40 PG courses, that is called online and open courses in July to December this semester 2021. And same like 66 UG courses is provided in almost all subjects. And there are different providers of these resources, like your Diksha teaching, learning materials, then NCERT solution, your NDL, then Close, then NISTA, then Nozer, then Swayam and Swayam Prabha, then Khan Academy, NEOS, then ePathshala, Virtual Lab, OLAB, and eBasta, Teacher Classroom, Google Classroom, NPTEL, Infoport, AView, POSI, Spoken Tutorial, eYantra, Oscar++, eCulpa, DOAJ and DOAB, the Director of Open Access Journal and Director of Open Access Books, Open Knowledge Repository, World Bank, then eContent Courseware, Udemy, eSodh Sindhu, eSodh Suchi, then Vidwan, Oxford Open, Cambridge University, Science Direct, then Open Access Content, Project and Aid Data, Spinger Journals, then Francis and Taylor Open Access Thesis Dissertation, so many more. Even if the Project Gutenberg, Agris, PubMed Central, so many institutions, universities, and other government agencies are providing these sources. So it is the duty of the authority and duty of the responsibility of the authority and responsibility of the librarian to provide find these sources where it is available and preserve them and provide to the users. So with this few of my thoughts I share before you. So at this again I am very much thankful to the thankful and gratitude to the Panchamura Mahavidyalaya and the patron and the organizing member for giving the opportunity to be a part of this auspicious and benevolent national level webinar. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your speech. And now I would like to thank Dr. Vignesh. He has a great presentation with him with NDLI. Before that, I thanks Dr. Ravindra Kumar Mahapatra.
Thank you. Yes, thank you, Dr. Subhatish Karak. A very good morning to all the.
Dr. Sarnamohan is currently the Chief Strategic Outreacher at National Digital Library of India. Am I audible?
Yeah, it's breaking, but it's okay.
Yes.
I think some problem. Dr.
Okay, so please, you are audible.
Is it audible?
Yeah. Don't worry. I will start the session. I will start the presentation. We will try to capture next.
Okay. Dr. Vikram is currently the Chief Strategy Officer at National Digital Library of India. Dr. Vignesh, large development project like National Digital Literacy Mission, etc. Holds a doctor with a
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Karak. A very good morning to all the participants. As Dr. Karak mentioned, I'm Dr. Vignesh. I'm part of the National Digital Library of India team. So thanks to Dr. Magabatra, he set the context of today's session, the way the conventional library is moving towards the digital library, especially during the pandemic. The National Digital Library of India has been doing great service. So I will just, I have a small presentation with me. I will just quickly run through the presentation. I hope my audio and the presentation is visible to all of you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You are audible and visible.
Thank you so much. So in today's session, we're going to look at these things. Why National Digital Library of India was created. How does NDLI work? What kind of content we have? Who is this for? How to access these NDLI? And then what's the difference between Google and NDLI? And then we are also going to quickly touch upon the National Digital Library of India Club, NDLI Club. So first things first, why NDLI, right? So though I'm a very strong lover of physical libraries, I love going to the libraries. The institution where I did my masters and PhD, the libraries were like, even it's open 24/7, right? So that's a kind of library that I had access to. But in the recent past, especially the last 5 to 7 years, what's happening across the country, not only in India, outside of India also, there has been drastic reduction in the financial and human resources for libraries. So which automatically results in, say, when the financial and human resources are reduced, the learning outcomes that are related with the institution of the students and the faculty members are going to drastically impact on the learning outcomes of the students and the faculty members. That's a serious problem, right? So wherever the institutions that have invested more or at least continued the same amount of investment, the institution has flourished. But the institutions had their own reasons. They said there are not much intake. There are not the students and faculty members are not making use of the library the way it could have been done. So the institutions had the reasons, but one of the major reasons is the financial and the human resources are being drastically reduced. And the second one of the reasons is, so in the physical library, we have challenges like accessing the same resource by multiple persons at the same time. So in the physical library, you can have, say, multiple copies of the same resource, but not to cater to the entire people who want to access the same resource. And also we have challenges like missing resources, hidden resources, and damaged resources in the physical libraries. So having seen all these challenges, the government of India actually wanted to democratize education, through which it want to give equal access to knowledge resources to every Indian citizens, whether they are from West Bengal or Gujarat or Jammu and Kashmir or Kanyakumari, any part of the people, whoever wants to access quality knowledge, so they should be able to access. So that is the idea of the National Digital Library of India. And keeping that in mind, NDLI was created as a single ubiquitous platform for providing equitable access to knowledge resources. So with that idea, the National Digital Library of India was started way back in 2016 as a pilot project. And today it's a national asset. It's one of the leading resources that gives access to over 7 crore resources across various educational domains. And during this lockdown, we all faced the libraries across the globe, not just in India, across the globe, every library was closed. But even during that time, the National Digital Library of India was giving access to over 6 crore resources during that pandemic period. So that's the beauty of the National Digital Library of India. But when originally the National Digital Library of India was created, that time we never thought that the COVID kind of a pandemic will arise and the entire world will go on a lockdown mode. But still, it's a visionary initiative that we have all come across. So now let's see, how does NDLI work? So NDLI primarily stores or ingests metadata. We only have metadata in our repository. We don't store any full text resources, right? So metadata, many of you know, it's nothing but the basic information about a resource. And for example, if there is a book, the title of the book, the author of the book, the publisher of the book, the number of subjects that are being covered, and the number of pages, the basic information about the resource is called metadata. Okay, that is what we store in our repository. We don't store any full text resources. Then you may ask me, like, what is the point of having only the metadata in a digital library without having access to the full text resources? Right? So yes, that's a valid question. We give access to the full text resources, but in a different format. So imagine the central part, the NDLI repository part. This is the National Digital Library of India portal. So as a first step, what we do is we partner with institutions. We don't create any content, right? Or we don't digitize any content. What we primarily do is we partner with institutions which are having non-copyrighted, open source, digitized resources, right? Say for example, if Panchmura Mahavidyalaya has 1,000 non-copyrighted, open source, digitized resources, which could be faculty publications, student publications, or research papers, or articles, published articles which are non-copyrighted, which are open for sharing, or question banks, data sets, manuscripts, any open source digitized resource which you are willing to share, right? If you are willing to share, as a first step, we sign an agreement with your institution and we help you in setting up an IDR. IDR stands for Institutional Digital Repository. So once the IDR is created for these your institution, we help you in creating the metadata in the format which we require in for our repository. So once for these 1,000 resources, we create the metadata. Once the metadata is created, we just pull the metadata from here, but the original full text resources lying in your IDR. Okay, we just pull the metadata from here and then we store it in our repository. In our repository, we give due credit to all the partners. We don't own any content, right? We just facilitate access to knowledge, quality knowledge resources, right? Suppose if a researcher from, say, Jharkhand wants to access one of your faculty's presentations. So what he does, he comes to NDLI, he searches for the resource. Once the resource is located, he clicks on that resource, it will redirect to your IDR. Here you validate this user. Once the user is validated, you give him the access to these resources directly to the researcher. Okay. So in this process, what's happening is we act as a facilitator. We act as a facilitator of knowledge. We don't own any content, right? So we give complete freedom to our content partner to give the access to their resources. And so far, we have partnered with over 347 such content contributors across the globe. And these are some of the content contributors. So the previous speaker, Dr. Mohapatra, mentioned, some of them are already listed here. And if you look at the subject-wise content availability, so we have the information in general works over 1.64 crore resources. Philosophy and psychology, we have 6 lakh resources. Religion, we have 2.2 lakh resources. Social sciences, we have 60 lakh resources. Language, we have 1.86 lakh resources. Natural sciences and mathematics, we have 98 lakh resources. Technology, we have 1.27 crore resources. Arts, fine and decorative arts, we have 19 lakh resources. Literature and rhetoric, we have 9.48 lakh resources. History and geography, we have another 9.59 lakh resources. So if you add these, as of today, we have 7 crore resources in our repository, right? And these 7 crore resources are available in multiple learning resource types. So this could be a thesis or a dissertation, faculty publication, research projects, PowerPoint presentations, video lectures, class notes, coursework, stamp papers, assignments, assessments, lab experiments, case studies, manuals, question banks, data sets, manuscripts, paintings, newspaper articles, law acts, law judgments. So we have over 60 different types of learning resource types available in our repository. And these 7.2 crore resources are available in 5 different access options. So these are the 5 different access options. One is open access, which means these resources are available even outside of NDLI. Say for example, NCERT books. So you can access NCERT books by easily going to NCERT website and download all the books at free of cost. You don't have to be registered there, right? And the beauty of NDLI is we have collated over 300 such open source resources and brought it in a single platform. So that is the beauty of NDLI, right? And then we have NDL uses content. So this is primarily the national license content. So the government of India has procured national license from South Asia Archive and World eBook Library. Okay, and these resources are given to NDL registered users only. Okay, they must be registered in NDL, then only they will be able to access these resources. So one and NDL users content, these two content give you full text resources. Full text means you can download the entire book or article or video or audio lectures completely. You don't have to pay a single penny for accessing these two resources. Okay, and you can easily note them by. So when you search below every search article, you can see this icon. So this denotes the access option here, and the other three access options are limited access, which means like maybe 30 page article, maybe you will be accessing 10 or 15 page of it. Subscribe based, say for example IEEE and Springer, we only have the metadata, we don't have full text resources. So if you want to access these IEEE and Springer, then your institution has to take the subscription from IEEE or Springer, then only you will be able to access it. So, but you don't have to go to their website, you can directly access it from NDLI itself. And the fifth one is restricted access. Restricted access means like it will require additional authentication from the source authority. Okay, so these are the 5 different access options that are available at NDLI. And then if you look at the access option wise content, we have open access content which are 5.11 crore resources, and the NDL users content which are 6.64 lakh resources. So if you add these two, we have 5.18 crore resources that are full text resources. So you can download these 5.18 crore resources at free of cost. You don't have to be paying a single penny for accessing these 5.1 crore resources. And if you look at the major learning resource type, articles are the major chunk with 3.81 crore resources, followed by newspaper articles which are 74 lakhs, books are about 67 lakhs, theses are about 7.4 lakhs, video lectures are about 4.72 lakhs. May I request all the participants to kindly mute your mic. I can see Ms. Jayita Datta, kindly mute your mic, please. There is a lot of disturbance from your mic. Ms. Jayita Datta, kindly mute your mic, please. Or the organizer, kindly mute her mic, please. Okay, so who is this for? The resources available at NDLI are meant for every age group, starting from the school-going children to college-going youths, working professionals, academicians, researchers, entrepreneurs, and lifelong learners. So anyone who is interested in learning, we have resources for them. So now let's see how to access NDLI. So there are 2 ways through which you can access the National Digital Library. One is a mobile app. So we have a mobile app for both Android as well as iOS. So you can easily download the NDLI mobile app from the Play Store or App Store. Or you can go to any browser and you can access it from there. So this is our browser-based application. This is a mobile application. So let me first show you how to access the browser-based application. So for accessing a browser-based application, what you need to do is just go to Google or any search engine for that matter, and then type National Digital Library of India. So the first resource which you get, which is the ndl.iitkgp.ac.in, this is our official URL. And we also have another URL which is ndl.gov.in. So both the URLs work. Suppose if you want to open NDLI, what you need to do is just go here and click. Once you click, it will take you to our home page. This is how our NDLI home page looks like. So on the top bar, you can see there is a browse button. So to browse the content, you just have to click here. You can browse the content by type, by subject category, by source, by learning resource type. Okay. And then we have a search bar icon here also. And then here is a NDLI Club portal. So if you click there, it will take you to our NDLI Club portal. And then you can change the language interface. So currently it's available in 10 Indian languages apart from English. And then we have a login button, so through which you can log into the NDLI portal. So this is the search box. I will talk about it in a little while. And these are the 3 newly created sections. One is study at home section, wherein our team has actually classified the resources into various educational level and educational domain also. Okay. And then we have a COVID-19 research repository and some featured collections also, right? So now, suppose if you want to search on a topic, so you just have to enter the topic and then click search. Say for example, I searched on a topic called Java programming. Okay. And I want only full text resources. Full text, as I mentioned earlier, you want to download the entire content. So then in that case, what you need to do is search for the topic and then go to a filter. On the left hand side, you can see the various filter options. And one of the filters is access restrictions. So once you click, this kind of a menu will come. So here you choose open and NDLI. So once you choose these two, you will be able to see the number of resources available under this category. So we got 26,863 results that are full text on this topic of Java programming. Okay. And then I searched for a topic called human resource management, and I wanted only case studies on this topic. Okay. And there is also a difference. So I put a double quotes here, which means I wanted all the three words should be there in the search item. Okay. Suppose if I put normally without the double quotes, it means it will not, even if one word is there, it will fetch the result. But here I wanted all the three words should be there in the result. So I put double quotes here. So I wanted only case studies. Okay. So I went to learning resource type and then I chose case study. I got 37 results. And the next topic I searched was on history of English literature, and I wanted only books. That is also from EPG Pathshala. Okay. Some of you might have already heard. So go to source and you click Infinite EPG Pathshala. You got 453 results on this topic of history of English literature. And then I searched for a topic called modern India, financial accounting, biotechnology, etc. Okay. This is just to give you what kind of content we have. And then if you want to access the study at home section, suppose if you want engineering or science or humanities or literature or law and management, you just have to go and click on each of them. Suppose if you click on engineering, so it will display the various engineering subjects. You can just click on this to see the further content available under the subject category. You can click on science, humanities, you can see the various humanity subjects, history, geography, sociology, economics, psychology, political science, education, constitution and law, philosophy, mass communication, etc. And literature, we have English, Hindi, learn Sanskrit, learn Urdu, and literary works in English. And then we have law and management, right? And we have some featured content for higher educational institutions. Say, for example, NPTEL. If somebody is muting it here, kindly do not unmute, please. Thank you. I didn't mute myself, so the organizers kindly, when you mute only the corresponding person. So we have spoken tutorial, EPG Pathshala, the National Science Digital Library, MIT Open Courseware, and these are the two national license content, South Asia Archive and World eBook Library. And then we have some school students related content also. So you can, once if you want to download, you just have to click on the content, then it will take you to a page like this. So here you can see the metadata and content tab. So once you click on metadata, this is called the metadata information. And if you find it useful, if you want to download, you just have to click on this content, then the entire content will get downloaded. Okay. So I just wanted to tell you, for accessing the open resources, you don't have to pay a single penny or you don't have to be registered or logged in. But if you want to access the NDL registered content, NDLI content, then you must be registered and logged into NDLI, then only you will be able to download it. So I'm going to talk about some 9 important filter options. So these are some of the important filter options. Access restriction. Suppose if you want only open resources, you can just click on open and NDLI, then you will get only the open resources. Author wise, subject category wise, educational level wise, file format wise, language wise. At NDLI, we have the content available in more than 400 languages, both Indian as well as international languages. Learning resource type wise, source wise, and then content type wise. Okay, these are some of the 9 important filter options through which you can narrow down your results. Okay, as I mentioned, you can change the language interface into various Indian languages. like Hindi, Gujarati, Marathi, Bengali, Assamese, Oriya, Tamil, Malayalam, Telugu, Kannada, and English also. So you can just click on the top bar and then you can change the language interface. And also we have the mobile app. So once you download the app from the App Store, then once you click on the app, so this is how the home screen of the NDLI mobile app looks like. Here, if you click on the search icon, then the search box will appear here. Here you can enter the search keyword and then click search from the keypad. You will get the results. So here I searched for financial accounting and I got 2,25,000 results. Now suppose if I want to narrow down the results, just click on this orange icon. Then the subject, various subject domains will be listed here. Then suppose if you want only video content, just go to the content type filter, choose video and then click apply. I got 205 results. Similarly, you can apply the remaining filters also, right? So that's it. I covered most of the topics. So I will just skip on this Google versus NDLI slides. So the major difference between Google and NDLI is NDLI has only the curated educational content, and you can narrow down the results using the educational filter options. And ours is a unified platform, and we have the national license. So these are the major difference between Google and NDLI. And then we come to the last part of the presentation, which is how to operate the NDLI club. Right. So NDLI club is an initiative to promote the culture of reading and learning using the NDLI's knowledge resources. As I said, we have over 7 crore resources, out of which 5.2 crore resources are full text resources. So basically, our idea of NDLI club is to promote the culture of reading, especially among the young generation. So NDLI clubs provide the platform to conduct such kind of learning related activities for our young generation. Okay. So for registration at NDLI, what you can do is, so any higher educational institution or schools can, or educational institution can register for NDLI club. And recently AICTE, UGC, NAC, NBA has made it mandatory, and soon the schools also will make it mandatory to register NDLI club in their institution. So for doing the registration, first you need to identify 4 key members for the club: the patron, president, secretary, and executive members. And then they have to first register. All these 4 members should be registered at NDLI. Okay. And then they have to, once they are registered at NDLI, then they have to come to the NDLI club page. This is how the NDLI club page looks like. So they have to click on the club registration page. Then the registration form will open. There you just fill the basic information about yourself. So, if you are interested, I'd be happy. You kindly send me an email. I would be happy to give you more information about this NDLI club. And so once the club is created, we will be issuing a certificate of registration that is valid for 1 year. And within that 1 year, you need to conduct various reading related activities. And these are some of the activities that you can conduct: a lecture series, or a quiz competition, or a storytelling session, go fish session, film screening, drawing competition, role play, writing competition, maker space, or debate. So these are some of the activities you can conduct in your under your club. And these are some of the club's activities that have been already conducted in various institutions. And that's it from my end. If you have any questions, I would be happy to respond to your questions. And now over to Dr. Karak.
Thank you, Dr. Thank you so much for your elaborating explanation regarding every resources access. And thank you for inviting us for the NDLI club. We will definitely join in time. And so I would like to ask the participant, if you have any clarification needed or any questions you have, kindly ask him, and definitely he will try to give the best answer. And you can also mail me. Those who are watching Facebook Live, they do not have the direct access to Google Meet. So they can mail me. I have given the mail address to all the invitation email. So you please send your query to my mail, and I will forward this to Dr. Bignesh sir. He will be there in the program. We have another resource person also. So in the course of time, at the end of the time, end of the webinar, he will answer also again. Thank you, Vignesh sir. And now we are going to the next resource person. And I will come to you, Dr. Vignesh, if there is any query after collecting the queries from our participants. Now I am going to the next resource person, that is none other the Pranav Hajra. Pranav Hajra sir. Pranav sir, are you there? So I have before that, I would like to introduce Sri Pranav Hajra sir. He is the Chief Librarian of Sidho Kano Birsa University, Purulia. He is a prolific writer and journalist. He has contributed many articles in the journals, magazines, and subjects topic ranging from social science and matter to the education concerning issues the promotion and development of library information services. He is an active social worker, and he always stood by the needy people without seeing the caste, creed, and political color. He has contributed 7 books to his credit, and many of his articles are published in leading Bengali newspapers, including Ananda Bajar Patrika also. So now I request Sri Pranav Hajra sir to deliberate his address how the digital access can be given to the student, teacher, and other fraternities in this pandemic situation, and how it can be improved, or whatever you want to make this digital access smoother, easier, without violating copyright access. Thank you, sir. Over to you.
Thank you, Shubhashish. Respected President of this national level webinar, respected Dr. Mohapatra, Dr. Swarno Mohan, Dr. Swapon Majhi, the senior most professors of this college, respected Mr. Shubhashish Karog, librarian and organizing secretary of this webinar, and other members of the organizing committee and other participants. I would like to thank the Panchpura College authorities and the librarian for organizing such a webinar. I will try to strike a balance between practice and reality, considering the technological infrastructure of the educational institution of our country. Before that, I thank Dr. Mohapatra and Dr. Swarno Mohan. Especially our university will need your help, Dr. Swarno Mohan. I'll communicate with you for NDLI. Now let us start our topics. During this COVID-19 pandemic, it is a tough, challenging job to provide services to the users community and to manage the natural process of information dissemination. As we are now living in the age of internet, with a single click we can get ample information, but it is very difficult to recognize the authentic and fake information sources. Hence, the role of librarian is vital in the information society for providing trustworthy information to the users from the reliable sources. While it's fascinating to view these pandemic-related closures as much needed downtime, librarians do not have that leisure. Society still needs librarians. In fact, users who have not utilized library services in years want libraries' boredom-breaking services and librarians' long-trusted guidance too. This is the best opportunity for the librarian to market libraries and its online services to prove their uniqueness. The tragedy of COVID-19 pandemic is having a profound effect on the lives of millions of people in India and around the world. recently imposed restrictions to daily life have forced us to quickly adopt different ways of working, learning, and connecting with each other, and to maintain our good health to combat with this dreaded virus. Due to COVID-19 pandemic and the tremendous growth and continuous development of technology, and the role of library becomes more responsive in making the users techno-savvy. COVID pandemic have affected not only the formats and sources of the information, but also how and where to provide library services. As libraries physically close to the user, libraries and their resources have mostly moved to virtual world of internet. As a result, library users can access the resources from outside the physical library. In an effort to reach users accessing the library via their computers, many libraries and library consortia are extending their services to include virtual reference. Technology now allows users to submit. Technology now allows users to submit their queries to the library at any time from any place in the world. The many libraries have been changing its way of managing collection, proving service to keep pace with the latest trends and demand. In spite of various limitations, effort is being made for providing uninterrupted service to the academic community of the university and colleges and educational institutions during this pandemic. Challenges are being forced by the library professional during COVID-19 pandemic in the following areas: providing proper guidelines to the users regarding what is available online and how to use it, to integrate all the resources with the website, provide right information to the right users in the right time, provide information from authentic sources, to reach to the remote area where internet bandwidth is very low or not available at all, lack of devices, to continue subscription-based e-resources through renewal procurement, and 8, to combat the country's growing digital divide. As this is a golden age of open source, several thousand open source resources have been integrated with the library website along with the subscribed electronic resources. All these resources are accessible inside the campus through the computers and outside the campus through remote login service, both through computer and mobile app. Remote login service, all the users of the library have access to library resources, both on-site and off-site. Users can access to resources outside the campus anytime and from anywhere of the world through remote access facilities. At a time, multiple users can access the same resources. Awarded thesis may be uploaded to Shodhganga. Access to resources through mobile app. Online orientation workshops are being organized in regular interval for the students and teachers. Link of free resources such as ebooks, e-journal databases from the renowned publishers such as Oxford Springer, Wiley, Elsevier, Taylor, EBSCO, Project Muse, JSTOR are being sent to the entire academic community during COVID pandemic period. Prepared a list of implemented resources and circulated among the academic community with proper links of those resources among the students, which helped them immensely during this lockdown period. Librarians may take feedback through Google Sheet in this regard. Creation of IRINS website to showcase the research impact of faculty. The university library may also provide online plagiarism detection support through Urkul software provided by InfreeNet. Financial assistance for the student. During this pandemic, the practical thing is that financial assistance is being provided to economical weaker students of the academic institution so that they don't face any difficulties to pursue their studies, to continue access to e-library and attend online classes and examination. Awareness program through webinar. During this pandemic period, librarian may deliver lectures as invited speaker on several webinars conducted by various universities, colleges, and other academic institutions, and may participate as a guest lecturer on several seminars and webinars conducted by the publishers. Thus, she may increase awareness among the library professionals as well as other community of the society during this pandemic situation. Adoption of university library is a good match towards making researchers, students, faculty members, and the university more research-driven. The rationale for adoption of e-libraries in universities in Nigeria is solely to provide electronic and online resources for staff and students in order to enhance educational development and provide educational resources for effective teaching, learning, and research activities. Electronic library achieves its objectives by creating opportunities for the users to access, retrieve appropriate information that caters for their information needs at their beck and call university beck and call. University library is responsible for providing instant access to digitized information, electronic information resources and services with the aid of computer or telecommunication technology. Electronic library acquires, processes, stores, evaluates, and disseminates information via electronic means to the audience in need of information. It can serve as a medium of achieving national and community development through provision of relevant information necessary for decision making and policy enhancement. Electronic library is a multidisciplinary concept that shares various branches of computer science, including data management, information retrieval, library science, document management, information system, the web, image processing, and artificial intelligence. Multidisciplinary nature of electronic library engenders flexibility in the definition, which makes it difficult to have a singular definition of e-library. However, the format, form, and nature of digital libraries give clear picture of what digital library means. Electronic library is the library where some or all the holdings of the library are available in electronic format, and the services of the library are also made available electronically, frequently over the internet, so that users can access them remotely. According to Hertz, in 2014, the mission of e-library is to provide both information services and resources that are capable of meeting the research, teaching, and learning need of the faculty and students. Of course, academic researchers see a library as a research center and intellectual energy house where knowledge, ideas, and direction are generated to achieve research goals of the academic institution. Digital library provides library and information resources in electronic format other than print format and enhances searching electronic collection distributed across network rather than merely creating electronic repositories from digitized physical material. A digital library is a library in which collections are stored in digital format as opposed to print, microfilm, or other media, and accessible by computers. The content may be stored locally or accessed remotely. Daniel Ackham and Jerome in 2010 opined that the potential of e-library lies in its use of electronic wide area network in the library, in which the users enjoy the euphoria of being in distance and still access library collection. The foregoing reveals that e-library eliminates physical boundaries of data storage, access, retrieval, and dissemination of information to users within and across the globe with the use of internet. The Library of Congress collection policy statement supplementary guideline states that electronic resources are any work encoded and made available for access through the use of a computer. It includes electronic data available by remote access, referring to the use of electronic resources via computer network, and direct access, fixed media, referring to use of electronic resources via carrier, namely disks, cassette, cartridges, designed to insert it into computerized devices or its auxiliary equipment. Gu and Anigiri in 2013 clearly gave example of electronic resources which include but are not limited to websites, online database, e-journal, e-books, electronic integrating resources, and physical carriers in all formats, whether free or fee-based, required to support research in subject covered and maybe audio-visual and or text file. Similarly, Okor Ashagua A in 2009 defined electronic information resources as any information resources that is accessed via the internet, including CD-ROMs. They further enlisted specific types of electronic information resources as consisting of electronic books, electronic journals, and indexes, collection of journals articles, reference works, digital collection, and databases. According to Orkier, Omkompa, and NOE in 2016, electronic information resources include World Wide Web, Wi-Fi, search engine, online indexes, video CDs-based internet connectivity, online library catalog, online database, portals, e-journals, and e-books. Services in e-library include the typical traditional library and information services and other global information services through computer and telecommunication system. Okier, Amiku, Enuya in 2016 showed the various services provided a digital library which include online internet search services, email services, online reference services, online cataloging and classification services, customer care services, management of online database, subscription services, awareness and workshop services, audio and video communication services, news groups, dialogue database, electronic document delivery services, interoperability services, technical training in ICT for staff and users, online interlibrary services, digitized finding set such as online indexes and bibliographies and online cataloging and classification services. Digital library has become an integral part of academic research activities. Occasion posits that digital library is a place of hope and adventure for every sort of researcher after knowledge. It is a place where people and ideas meet and new ideas are ignited, making possible new relationships and new possibilities. University library plays a prominent role in promoting research in academic through provision of wide arrays of researchable information sources, mechanized access, and retrievable information system, having all the research activities or having all the research articles, abstracts, thesis, dissertation, conference proceedings, textbook, index, and other reference material. Student and academic staff tends to produce a better and more quality research project timely and with relative ease. Impact of digital library on research according to Trivedi in 2010 includes provision of access to large amounts of information to users wherever they are and whenever they need it, access to primary information sources, support multimedia content along with text, network accessibility or intranet or internet, user-friendly interface, hypertext link for navigation, client-server architecture. The role of e-library to research activities impact significantly on nations' social and economic development. Report of World Bank in 1908 states that, it is a report of World Bank, states that generation and transmission of knowledge through research has long been recognized as an essential requirement for a country's long-term growth and competitiveness, as well as for creating capacity to solve social and academic problems. Research productivity and academic researchers in the institution of higher learning is regarded as a yardstick for academic advancement. Kosiji, Kendagor, Tuitoke, Kilan Maghat in 2012 opined that research activities of academic researchers in academic institutions are determined by the number and quality of articles published by the affiliated faculty. Research productivity in universities reflect the active engagement of academic researchers. Research productivity of academic researchers is the totality of publication output in terms of articles published in peer-reviewed journals, conference proceedings, and book chapters aimed at contributing to the existing body of knowledge. The quality and quantity of research publication by the academic researchers in universities are essential for their performance evaluation, promotion, securing tenure or permanent appointment, research grant, status enhancement, recognition, and other benefits. Perhaps to ensure effective research productivity in universities, academic researchers must make effective use of reliable information sources. University library, according to Keshvan in 2009, was adopted to increase access to resources and facilitate new research library. And the manipulation of information or data to save the time of the user, support e-learning and online researches. The objective of e-library is limited if access and retrieval of e-resources and services are ineffective. However, access to and retrieval of digital information resources has remained one area of growing concern for e-librarians. According to Taylor and Francis, pointed out areas in which improvement and innovation are needed to facilitate access to and retrieval of e-resources. They suggested creation and adoption of metadata standards to signal how open content is, improved identification of free articles in hybrid journals, permanence of access and reliable archiving for free content, comprehensive indexing of quality free resources by discovery system, provision of usage statistics for free online content, consistent across publishers, improved integration of free content with link resolvers, development of wide range of trusted repositories linking to free content, improved user interfaces for accessing library surfaced content, more training and support in information literacy skills for students and faculty, development of metrics for evaluating impact of content on institutional performance. In spite of the roles of electronic libraries, users of university e-library still face challenges in access and retrieval of e-resources and services which grossly affect effective research activity. Improvement and innovation for access and retrieval of e-resources and services are not put into consideration. The users of the library would be scared to patronize the e-library and would culminate into low research output and falling standard of the university. Now, below is the list of resources we have available within the library. That is database. Databases are indexes which enable you to search for articles within journal, electronic books, electronic dictionaries and encyclopedia, journal and e-journal, official publication, online newspaper, referencing resources. So digital, what are the digital materials? Newspapers online, Chronicile America, Elephant.com, Google News Archive, newspaper catalog of digital historical newspaper. What is the digital resources? Digital resources can be defined as materials that have been conceived and created digitally or by converting analog materials to a digital format. The library provides access to digital information resources in preference to collecting other forms containing similar information. The types of digital library: institutional repositories, national library collection, digital archive. What is the example of digital learning? A well-known example of digital learning includes social media, online games, multimedia and mobile phones. Digital learning is any type of learning that uses technology. It can happen across all curriculums, learning areas. What is digital learning materials example? Digital learning materials or e-learning materials are study material published in digital format. These include e-textbooks, e-workbooks, educational videos, e-texts, etc. Which of the following is the example of digital learning? The learning from mobile learning, that is mobile phones, tablet, computers, laptops, computers, personalized learning, online learning. Now, what is the advantage? One way that digital resources can be empowering is that they allow students to access information needed for research and assignment in or outside the classroom, as well as prepare for class on their own time and in their own way. Digital resources are occupying an important part of world literature. They refer to information sources in electronic form. The different types of resources are electronic books, electronic magazines, databases, and CD-ROMs, etc. Our definition of digital resources is intentionally broad and include rich media objects like maps, video, images, etc. as well as text. These digital resources may reside in or outside digital libraries and include those developed by individual scholars and by other entities. What is the concept of digital library? A digital library is a special library with a focused collection of digital objects that can include text, visual materials, audio materials, video materials, stored as electronic media formats, etc. So, digital library is a collection of documents in organized electronic form available on the internet or on CD-ROM, compact discs, read-only memory, etc. Depending on the specific library, a user may be able to access magazine articles, book papers, images, sound files, and videos, etc., etc. Disadvantages, there are also some disadvantages of digital library. The computer viruses, lack of standardization for digitized information, quick degrading properties of digitized material, different display standard of digital product, and its associated problem, health hazard nature of radiation from the monitor, etc. Why digital library is important? What are the advantages of the digital library? The benefits of digital libraries, such as no physical limits. People can get information 24 hours, allowing multiple access to an information source, making it easier to search for information by keywords, preservation and conservation data, digitize and clear up the writing in books or other printed reading sources. What are the disadvantages? The digital technology, data security. Digital technology means that vast amounts of data can be collected and stored. Crime and terrorism, complexity, privacy concern, social discontent, work overload, digital media manipulation. And what are the digital learning tools? Like Fuse is a content library of teaching materials and educational resources. Virtual conferencing, digital learning software, ICT, strategic planning, e-potential, etc. What is the difference between online and digital learning? Let it go. E-learning is learning by using electronic media, and it is only allows learning through the internet. Digital learning means learning using digital age technology, computer, mobile device, internet, etc. that can provide a wide range of solutions to enhance knowledge and performance in real life. However, to conclude, however, are we ready to go into this digital age? Are you ready? Not only for economic reasons, but we also have not yet made our minds technology lovers. An unprecedented anti-technology mentality among many policymakers and policy enforcers, especially in educational institutions, leaves library professional helpless and frustrated. As a result, most educational institutions do not have the infrastructure to provide e-services. Furthermore, in such a situation, COVID-19 pandemic imprisoned our people in his own house. Educational institutions were closed. People today are vulnerable to a deadly virus. This unimaginable captivity drove people crazy. Moreover, we reassured the public on behalf of the Library Professional Forum. Libraries closed, but librarians not. Stay home with books. Using social media and the internet, we started delivering PDFs and various links to people. Using social media, we have sent PDF, various links to about 20,000 house arrested people over the first year and a half, and the process is still ongoing. These services has gradually spread beyond the borders of the country, that is in the abroad. We are going through the service at the initiative of a platform called Sammilito Granthagara of SAGB Moncho. One of the forum members is the librarian of this college, Mr. Subhashish Karok, the initiator of today's webinar. Mr. Karok himself has developed a website. From here, textbooks are available for students and pre-nursery, from pre-nursery to class 12. With the help of this website, students can do even practical in science at home. It is interactive. There is a proverb in Bengali. If there is a will, there is a way. So, sometimes teachers have to climb tree and take online classes to get internet towers. Moreover, we have penetrated the iron fence of technology, and with the help of the technology, we have continued to provide online library services. We have also started NetSec training online. All these are voluntary services that is free, and there is no question of fees. In this way, in the last 1.5 years, we have provided over 5 crores of e-resources to people of different professions, including NDLI, including the resources we have got from the NDLI, National Digital Library of India. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable speech. We are enlightened and know and learn many things. Now it's a concluding part, and all the 3 esteemed speakers have delivered their speech, and we are already enriched. Now I will invite Mrs. Arpita Bhaumik, madam, to deliver vote of thanks. Over to Arpita Bhaumik, madam.
Thank you, Karok Babu. Hope my voice is reaching to everybody. So, good afternoon, everybody.
Okay.
Finally, we have reached the end of today's discussion. I must say, the discussion has been a virtual discussion, but if this has to be a face-to-face discussion, then lot of queries would have aroused, and I am sure that Mr. Subhashish Karok has received a lot of queries in his mail. The discussion was really very compact. The title was Access to Library Learning Resources in Digital Format. Firstly, I, being the coordinator of Internal Quality Assurance Cell of Pachmura Mahavidyalaya, express my heartfelt gratitude to the inaugural speaker, Dr. R.K. Mohapatra, Head, Department of Library and Information Science, Tripura University, and keynote speaker of today's session, Dr. Vignesh Sorna Mohan, Chief Strategic and Outreach Officer, National Digital Library of India, for their kind words and speedy acceptance of our invitation. It has been a privilege for us to hear a compact lecture from the resource person of the day, Mr. Pranab Hajra, University Librarian, Shidhu Kanhu Birsha University. The commendable support that the faculty members and organizing committee members have received from the chief patron of today's webinar, Dr. Anol Bishwas, Principal, Pachmura Mahavidyalaya, needs appreciation. I also convey my kudos to the untiring effort of the organizing secretary, Mr. Shubhashish Karok, librarian, Pachmura Mahavidyalaya, and all the members of the organizing committee, Dr. Bandana Singho Mahapatro, Mrs. Shugandha Roy, Dr. Tushar Kanti Das, Mr. Vasudev Chatterjee, Mr. Srimanta Mahadani, Mr. Krishna Das Pathok, Dr. Sharno Komal Goswami, Mr. Rahul Datta, Mr. Omio Nayak, and Mr. Shopun Tudu for making this webinar a successful one. I would also express my heartfelt thanks to Professor Shopun Kumar Majhi, Department of Economics, Pachmura Mathematics, Pachmura Mahavidyalaya for delivering the welcome address. Thank you, sir. My sincere acknowledgement for Mr. Bamapada Pramanik for his technical support, without which this could not have been telecasted on the social media platform. Expecting more such webinars in the upcoming days from the Library Committee of Pachmura Mahavidyalaya, I end my vote of thanks here. Over to you, Mr. Shubhashish Karok.
Thank you, Arpita Madam, for your sweet words. And now it's a concluding part with the permission of the chair, our respected Sapan Kumar Majhi sir. Sapan Kumar Majhi sir, are you there, sir?
I am here.
Sir, with your permission, we are going to conclude the program.
Yes. Everything is over. So now declare that it is over.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Dr. Ravindra Kumar Mahapatra sir, namaste sir.
Ajra sir, namaste. Majhi sir, namaste.
Namaste.
Good day to one and all.
Thank you.
Majhi sir, kindly invite all of our invited guests to the college campus.
Thank you.
On behalf of the college authority, we invite you, sir, to visit our college. The college is situated at a rural area, but the place is very nice and it is surrounded by sal trees, jungles, and it is very famous. The Pachmura is very famous for
Definitely.
and terracotta architect. All of the participants and resource persons are invited cordially to come. We have a small guest house also.
Enriched with oxygen. Say all. Air is enriched with oxygen. Very much. Excess oxygen.
Yes.
Please